Hi and welcome to another Stacks video tutorial. This time we're going to have a look at adding a counter mechanism to your Stacks application. Counters are handy for adding gamification to your Stacks application. You might use them, for instance, by having two pictures of individuals and a vote button, then making a call to action to your community to ask them to vote for which person they prefer. This works nicely because the end user gets a real-time view on the community's skew to each individual. So let's have a look at how we can do this. I've preloaded my application and we have two images of actresses. And what I want to do is ask my community which actress they prefer. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is add some sort of mechanism for the individual to vote. And this time that's going to be in the format of a button, so I'm going to drag in a button control. And then I'm going to drag in two images for the button. So I've got two images here selected in Explorer. The first one is the default image, so that's the one without any hover state or any click. And the second one is the click state, so when the user selects the button, this is the image that's displayed. Now, the system knows which button is which by the last part of the file name. So the default one, that's the standard state, is named _def.png or .jpeg, and the on-click state is named _ovr. So if you just highlight those images and drag them over the top of the button control and let go of your mouse button, they'll be set as the default and on-click state for the button. Once I've got the positioning the way I want it, I can then start wiring up the vote mechanism. The next step is to add in the counter control. The counter control works by bringing in a standard text control and telling Stacks that it's to be used as a counter. So I'm going to drag in a text control, and then I'm going to go to the text type in the controls panel and select counter. I'm then going to add a label for the counter, which is just a little bit of display for the end user. And once I've done that, I'm going to select the counter control again, and I need to tell it which button to count. So I select the on button option, and we have a drop down of all the buttons that are available. And I'm going to select the one that says Vote Katie. Now this tells the platform that whenever the Vote Katie button has been clicked, it needs to add one to the vote counter. So now I want to try this out, so I'm going to publish the application and I'm going to confirm all the dialogues, and then I'm going to switch over to the browser and make sure that the counter is working okay. So here we have our application page in the browser on Facebook, and if I click the vote button, we can see that the vote count is going up by one each time. So it's great that we've got the vote mechanism working, but often you'll only want an individual to be able to vote once. So what can we do about this? Well, we can add a restriction to the vote button. So let's go back to the Stacks platform and have a look at how we can achieve this. What I'm going to do is select the vote button, then change the restriction type to yes in the controls panel. Then just below there, it gives me a list of different criteria. This is how we want to apply the restriction. So I've got a choice of either engagement, once, daily, or weekly. Now, engagement will allow them to click the button as many times as they want without stopping them. It just registers it as an individual engagement in the statistics. If I select once, it'll only allow the user to click the button once. If I select daily, it'll allow them to click it once a day. And if I select weekly, it'll allow them to click it once a week. So on this occasion, I'm going to say just once. I'm going to select the once option. And then I get presented with a message saying if I want to use the once option, the application is going to have to request Facebook access to the individual's account. The reason this is necessary is because we use their Facebook identity to record whether or not they've voted. So now that I've added the restriction, what I want to do is republish the application and jump back onto Facebook to have a look at it working.
So our application's loaded on the screen, and if I click vote on Katie, it greys out after the first click. And this allows me to easily ensure that individuals only vote once where needed. And that's all there is to adding a counter mechanism to a Stacks application and adding restrictions to it. I hope this was useful.